The European Union has decided to impose significant tariffs on electric vehicles, EVs, imported from China, ranging from 27.4% to 48.1%. This move follows an anti-subsidy investigation by the European Commission, which revealed that Chinese EV manufacturers were benefiting from state subsidies, giving them an unfair competitive edge in the European market. The EU claims these subsidies allow Chinese manufacturers to sell their vehicles at lower prices, undercutting European competitors and threatening the region's domestic EV industry. This decision is part of the EU's broader strategy to protect its industries from what it views as market distortions caused by foreign subsidies. The approach is shaped by past experiences, such as the collapse of the European solar panel industry in the early 2010s, which was driven by an influx of cheap Chinese products. European leaders argue that safeguarding key industries is crucial to maintaining technological leadership, securing jobs, and supporting ambitious climate goals, particularly the transition to electric vehicles. The tariffs also align with the EU's goal to increase domestic production of green technologies, aiming for 40% of these, including EVs, to be produced within the EU by 2030, reducing dependence on foreign imports. In response, China has retaliated by targeting key European industries, such as luxury goods and agriculture. China has imposed tariffs of up to 39% on European brandy and is considering additional measures, including higher tariffs on European luxury cars and agricultural products like pork and dairy. These countermeasures are seen as a response to what China perceives as protectionist policies from the EU. The luxury sector, which relies heavily on Chinese consumers, is particularly vulnerable, and this trade dispute could further destabilize both the European and Chinese economies in the long term. Impact on French and Italian economies. France and Italy, with their prominent luxury and agricultural sectors, are feeling the sharp effects of China's retaliatory tariffs in response to the EU's decision to impose duties on Chinese electric vehicles. China is a key market for French luxury goods, particularly brandy, of which it consumes a significant share. French brandy now faces tariffs as high as 39%, putting additional pressure on an economy already struggling with a national debt that has soared to a staggering 3 trillion euros. Italy is similarly vulnerable due to its reliance on luxury exports, including high-end fashion and wine, where China is a major buyer. Italy's debt-to-GDP ratio remains troublingly high at 138%, adding complexity to its economic challenges. Like French brandy, Italian wine is also at risk from these new tariffs, threatening a vital export market for the country. If you're enjoying this content, please hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us grow. Thank you. Chinese countermeasure. China has imposed provisional tariffs on European brandy, specifically targeting French cognac, in response to the EU's tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. This move directly affects luxury brands like LVMH, which produces Hennessy, a brand that heavily relies on the Chinese market, where cognac exports are significant. China, which consumes over 60 million bottles of French cognac annually, is a critical market for these luxury goods. The new tariffs, ranging from 30.6% to 39%, target non-essential luxury items like brandy, aiming to protect China's domestic economy while dealing a blow to European industries. These measures not only hurt luxury brands, but also highlight the vulnerability of the French economy, which depends heavily on these exports. The French government has expressed concern, especially since the move breaks prior commitments from China not to escalate the trade conflict, further worsening France's economic challenges. France and Italy are feeling the strain from these retaliations. France, already grappling with rising debt and trade deficits, faces additional financial strain from the loss of luxury export revenue. Italy, with its economy heavily reliant on high-end goods and tourism, is also facing significant economic downturns. The automotive sector, especially in Germany, could be next in line if the conflict deepens. France's vulnerability in the luxury sector. China is the largest export market for French luxury goods, including fashion, cosmetics, and spirits, making France particularly exposed to trade disruptions. Companies like LVMH and Hermes, which have thrived in China, now face considerable risk. Although the luxury sector is generally resilient to short-term shocks due to strong consumer loyalty, prolonged tariffs may force companies to raise prices, potentially leading to a drop in demand. China's broader retaliatory strategy. China is considering expanding its retaliatory measures to target more luxury items, with the potential introduction of a 100% luxury tax. This would be part of a broader strategy aimed at shifting domestic consumption patterns, encouraging Chinese consumers to buy locally produced goods instead of imported luxury items. However, analysts suggest that a full-scale targeting of luxury goods may not occur, as China has its own economic interests tied to the sector. Potential retaliation in additional sectors. China's retaliation could extend beyond luxury goods to industries like Italy's wine sector, Spain's pork exports, and Denmark's dairy industry. The automotive sector is also at risk, with German car makers such as Mercedes-Benz and BMW potentially facing tariffs on large engine vehicles. This would cause disruptions in key industries and further destabilize Europe's already fragile economies. Avoidance of key strategic goods. Interestingly, some sectors might escape retaliation. For instance, China has spared Airbus airplanes from tariffs, signaling a strategic approach to its economic countermeasures. This suggests China is balancing its desire to retaliate with the need to maintain access to critical imports, like aircraft. Broader implications of the trade dispute. The escalating trade war between China and the EU carries global consequences. The EU finds itself in a tricky position, caught between U.S. protectionism and China's retaliatory actions. This conflict could disrupt global supply chains and economic relationships, potentially causing widespread instability across various industries. China's dominance in manufacturing. China's significant rise in global manufacturing, particularly in sectors like automotive and electronics, gives it considerable leverage in trade disputes. Its advanced manufacturing capabilities allow it to respond effectively to foreign trade measures. China's dominance in industries such as electric vehicles has placed the EU in a difficult position, with retaliatory tariffs likely to hurt both economies over time. That wraps up today's video. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We are genuinely grateful to have you as part of our community. If you found this video inspiring or insightful, please show your support by liking it and subscribing to our channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share content that moves and uplifts. Don't forget, we have another captivating video ready for you to enjoy. Just click the link now showing on your screen. Thanks for watching,